Hello. It's been a while. I needed a comfort game, so I figured what better way to start than talking to the wandering minstrel. Have you come to share your heroic yarn with me, yo? Please do go on. You have my rapt attention. So, what have you brought for me today? The trials and tribulations of Queen Sphene, who confronted with many a difficult decision as she sought to protect the citizens of her nation, Alexandria. In that realm, people regard souls as merely a resource. When they die, the ether of their memories is used to create the endless simulacra of the departed that can only be sustained with life force harvested from the living. Being so different from what we know, such a way of life is difficult for us to accept. Indeed, it seemed only inevitable that you should come into conflict with Sphene. She herself was not among the living, but an entity brought forth to fulfill a certain objective, and therein, I believe, lay root of this tale's tragedy. Recreated from the noblest of souls though she was helpless to defy the purpose to which she had been bound, protecting the endless no matter what the cost. Thus did she continue on her destructive path. She knew it led only to a dead end. A question, if you may, my friend. Deep in your heart, do you believe that Sphene whom you met was alive? I'm not sure. I see. Though our existence differed from the living precisely, what does it mean to be alive? 'Tis no easy thing to define. I thank you for your honest answer. I shall take it to heart. For my part, whether or not she was possessed of life, I believe that there existed an individual called Sphene who cared deeply for her people, who heard the voices of her people, felt as they did, and thought only for their welfare. That is why, at battle's end, she returned as the gentle soul you knew. But there, a thought fills me with dread. What if the soul failed to return, and the fearsome entity she had become continued the relentless onslaught? Might I have succeeded? It had succeeded in its objective and plundered life force from other realities at the cost of untold destruction. Of such a possibility, that shall I sing, that we might give thanks for the path we were mercifully spared. By golden light two rulers walked, their paths in conflict lying, one bound to slay, one sworn to save. They forged ahead untiring. The memories of departed days endure as fate and fetters, for keepers staunch of less warmth, oblivion of the breakers. Nice. Main story stuff. It is a pleasure as always, yo. Have you been able to relax lately? Wonderful. As busy as you've always been with the title of Succession, among other things. You deserve an opportunity to experience tutorial at a more leisurely pace. Sampling the tacos of Expo is one such way to do so. They're made the traditional way and laden with fillings and are absolutely sublime. If you have an empty stomach, the owner of Europe will look after you. Talking about the tacos, that Zil say has given me a craving. If you have time and an empty stomach, do go and have some for me. I have not done my job quest for dawntrail. I'm unable to. Well, if it isn't yo, alone today, are you? I see. You have a hankering for tacos. Then they're on the house. Consider it a token of gratitude for your help tracking down those treasures. Go ahead and find the table. I'll bring you a meal as soon as it's ready. Your red-haired friend has become something of a regular. Rare is the day you won't take one with him on a morning stroll. You still have tacos, I hope? You ate so many when you turned 5, you could barely move afterwards, remember that? No, not really. That was 30 years ago for me. Right, sorry, it's still strange for me too. Just the other day you were a little boy clinging to your mother's skirt as he set off to Yosemite. And now you're a man grown with a farce full of hair. Even so, I knew you were my son the instant I saw you. We're still family, and you can always rely on me. Relying. That feels like the only thing I'm doing right now. And you, and everyone else. I can't even start a fire without assistance at my new job. Back in Alexandria, we had Electrolook. If I needed fire, all I had to do was press a button. Everything was out our fingertips. But here I'm helpless, a culinarian who can't even light the stove. The way the others in the kitchen stared at me, gods, I never felt so embarrassed. I'm sorry to hear that. I'd been told the tales, but it seems life really is different within the dome. My wife and children, I was thinking I'd have them join me once things have settled, but at this rate. I say you send for them. If they're your family, then they're mine too. I'll do whatever's necessary to make it work. I didn't mean to overhear, but it seems you're having trouble readjusting to your life in tutorial. Vow Wolf Lamont. To aid folk like yourself, we've established a support group at the Wing of Reflection. There you can learn the skills you need to live outside the dome. It isn't easy being back, I know, but I'm hopeful that they can make things easier. That's exactly what I need. I'll definitely seek this group out, and I'll bring my family with me. Thank you. Oh, look who it is. I was just about to go and find you, yo. You don't mind the company, I hope. I could use a bite to eat myself. Ah, the tacos here never disappoint. So, what have you been up to lately? I've been exploring on my alpaca. I'm glad that the spinning devil is serving you well, and you're still enjoying the sights. As for myself, I'm being kept busy with duties at the palace, but whenever I find a moment, I like to walk the streets and talk to the people. That way, I can better understand the problems they have and share them with Koana to figure out solutions. I was on such walk just now, and as I mentioned, I was hoping to find you. Koana and I have something we want to discuss with you. As dawn servants, do you have the time to come to the palace? Great, I'll go on ahead. Please come and join us once you've finished here. Seems Koana's gone somewhere. Sorry. Mistress Yo, it's always an honor. Val Koana has stepped away to attend to a pressing matter, but he should join you with it before the long. Oh, you're all here too. Val Koana summoned us, though truth be told, Alphino and I have been seeing him quite regularly of late. He asked us to share our knowledge of Hanish culture, you see, in hopes of furthering and strengthening your alliance. We were, of course, happy to oblige him. Val and I were likewise summoned, otherwise we've been carrying on with our work, compiling information on the Golden City. My grandfather embarked on this investigation 20 years ago. With our report, we shall finish what he started. Lest you wonder, Thancred and Orianche have left to resume their tour of Tyrol. Estrella, meanwhile, is back to researching cross-rift travel. She was here just a few days ago to get Corana's permission to investigate living memory. By the way, she mentioned wanting to take a look at the key in your keeping at some point. If the look she had in her eyes was any indication, I suggest you brace yourself for when she comes calling, if you're like to be struck with her for a while. As for Estinian, we know neither where he is nor what he is doing. Some things never change. My apologies for the delay. Think nothing of it. We took advantage of the time to catch up. So, what can we do for you? Hopefully present company is enough for whatever it is you need. The matter for which I have summoned you pertains to Alexandria. A state funeral will soon be held in Solution 9 to mourn the passing of Queen Sphene. King Goldjaw and his administration have invited us to attend. While certain issues remain unresolved between our nations, such as the treatment of Yasuluni, I see no reason not to attend it. For generations, the Alexandrians lived without even the awareness of death. I wouldn't have expected them to have funeral rites still. Apparently, the members of Oblivion unearthed records of ceremonies that were conducted in the Alexandria of old. It was they who put forth the proposal that the queen be thus honored. Leave it to that lot to think of such things. The people of Alexandria no longer forget the departed. They are being confronted with the idea of death for the first time. I suspect our friends wanted to do something for them. Though Sphene was but a simulacrum, she was nonetheless a pillar for her people. The pain of her passing must run deep. Indeed, a funeral will give Alexandria the chance to come together to express their grief, that they might overcome it. I wasn't sure at first, but I've decided to go, not only to be there for Gula Jah, but to put this chapter behind us. That I requested your presence was none other than to see if you wished to attend the funeral. You knew Sphene as well, after all. I think I should go too. As I'm the one that killed her. Because you consider yourself responsible for her demise, I take it. But that's not a burden you bear alone. Here's my idea. As Val, I'll attend the funeral as representative of Tuliel. Meanwhile, you can go and a personal capacity and watch over the people as they mourn. I feel the rest of us should go too. Regardless of the reason, the fact remains that we deprived Alexandria of their beloved ruler. It's only right that we remember who Sphene was to her people and to others. So let us stand with you. Then it's decided. Let's head to Solution 9 and look for Gulaja in the back room. Nice. Though I too would ideally attend the funeral. Given the circumstances, I think it's best that Lemurtil represents us. Besides, I need to be on hand to oversee city repairs, which is taking longer than expected. When that work is complete, we will finally look into installing new thrones. But to have Father's throne here still, it makes me feel he is close by. I'm quite happy for it to remain for a while. God, I love this song. Pardon me, but you wouldn't happen to be Yo, would you? The very Yo who saved Solution 9? Ah, I knew it. My heroic friend are in luck, for I'm granting you permission to test your might against my indomitable dummies. Usually they're reserved for military research, but I'm willing to make an exception for one of your talents. Nothing to say? Of course, you've been struck dumb by my overwhelming generosity. Not to worry, for I will ease you into with a thorough explanation. Once you return to your senses, come meet me in the outskirts. The fuck? There you are. I trust you recovered from the shock of my initial proposal. Good, good. Now let me explain what this is all about. I am a researcher for Oblivion, namely in the field of electrical engineering. During the Zoral Jaw's reign, I survived within the ranks of his army by helping to research and develop protective materials. One of my many projects was these indomitable dummies, and as their name implies, their durability is second to none. They were used to measure their offensive potential of an entire arsenal of weapons to great effect. But now Zorojah is no more, and peace has returned to our home. A preferable outcome, of course, but it does mean that my masterworks have been left to rust. And that is an affront to science I cannot forgive. Peace may demand we set down our weapons, but the march of progress must go on. And so I grant you, who seems to possess my equal to an entire squadron of hardened troops, access to the spire of trial. Of course, I am more than willing to make adjustments as befit the magnitude of your power. As a woman of science, I can think of no greater honor than to have you testing the limits of my creations. You've given me purpose anew, yo. I'll be testing and improving the dummies when able, so you're welcome to stop by anytime, even if only to gaze upon my indomitable beauties. You know, that's an expansion of stones, guys. Okay, that's cool. Actually, I want to check something real quick. Okay. So that's the, whatchamacallit, Alliance Society plus. Just seeing if I could unlock the extremes yet. Get into the back room. Glad to see the invitations reached you. As you may have heard, we were able to find data on forgotten funeral customs amidst the old records. It appears to have been preserved by those who ruled the loss of culture due to the proliferation of regulators. We're grateful for their foresight. It's good of you to come. We're expecting a large attendance for the funeral. The venue isn't like to hold everyone at once, but the altar will remain for those who couldn't be present during the ceremony. We ourselves plan to go and pay our respects afterwards. Hey, you heard of the Rodnia Consortium? I absolutely can't stand that lot, let me tell ye. That's why I give the Nexus Arcade a wide berth. Even the residential district's too close for me liking, so I just crash here. Ah, you came for the funeral. Of course, I'm not the only one who will officially take part, though. The others will watch over the proceedings. So how have you been? It's been a while since my last visit. I'm good. Jill is always teaching me new things. Recently, I've learned about Everkeep systems and mechanical soldiers. It's knowledge I'll need to use my authority properly. Studious as always, I see. By way of treat, I brought you Gato chocolate. It's kind of a cake. I think you'll like it. Thank you, Lamatiel, and thank you for coming. I've never been to a funeral before, so I feel less nervous having you here. Out of curiosity, what's the custom in Alexandria? In our world, it's all common to offer flowers to the departed. It's much the same here, according to the records. Flowers will be distributed to all attendees. Considering that all the worlds used to be one, the practice of offering flowers may well share some ancient origin. Fascinating, what you say? While we proposed the funeral, the royal administrators took on the brunt of the planning. One of their number can better explain what their ceremony will entail. Papa always said he didn't want a somber funeral. We celebrated his life together with our victory. I'm sure he would have loved it. I like to think he was watching us from the world beyond, filling his cup every time he filled our own. Although I've been in the back room before, there was no time to see the sights. I should like to take a closer look at the equipment. It's a relief to see that Gula Ja is doing well. He's been through too much for one so young. For the people to take it on themselves to organize and hold a funeral, it speaks to their enduring love for Sveen. From a group that plotted to undermine a tyrant king from the shadows to one that aids their fellow citizens in the open, Oblivion has come a long way. The flowers are being handed out at Praxis Park. I'm thinking ahead over there now. We'll join you. There's a man I would like you to speak with, Gosan. He was apparently Sveen's aside, and the one who sent us the invitation. Come on, let's go. Alright, I'm gonna take a short break. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Sorry, I just got a text. Okay. Lord Lamont's attendance will surely help strengthen relations between the two nations. I get the strong impression that both Tutorial and Alexandria wish to put this tragic past behind them. It makes sense that Sphene had loyal aides such as Gosen, given how much time she dedicated to walking among her people. While it appears souls are still being issued, supply must be limited now that they're no longer being harvested. The grim faces in the queue tell the tale. Judging from all the activity, I presume the funeral will be held here. All correspondence was being handled by the Ring of the Reflection, so this is my first time speaking with Gosan. Here is Gosan. Why, I'm Lord Lamont of Tolial. Thank you for extending us an invitation to Queen Sphene's funeral. We are honored, truly. I have seen you before a distance, but never had the pleasure. I am Gosen, former chief beside the Queen. Since her passing, I have been responsible for administering affairs of state. Can we get our flowers here? Yes, Your Majesty. The flowers are being handed out at the counter yonder, alongside the regulators. What? We need to wear regulators for the funeral? Rest assured they are not a requirement. We are where your people do not use them. You see, people in Alexandria of old were tokens of mourning upon their persons when attending the funerals. Of old were tokens. As such tokens were black, it was suggested that we might wear regulators painted the same color. We've yet to produce enough for everyone, but we're distributing them as we are able. I see. Yet, regulator or no, the important thing is that we remember Queen Sphene. Remember her and her kindness as you make an offering of your flower. I will. The proceedings will soon begin in the plaza. Please take your place once you have your flower. Oh.
Although we are gathered here for the same reason, we hail from different lands. Some were born and raised in the Alexandria of old, while others came to us from Tuliolal. It was from this union of diverse peoples that a new Alexandria was born. The only home that our younger generation knows. How did we overcome barriers between us? What moved us to join hands in common purpose beneath crackling skies? You know the answer. We survived. We thrived because Queen Sphene brought us together. Inspired and encouraged by her boundless kindness, we strove to be better, for ourselves as well as those around us. And in Her Majesty's absence, there is a sadness beyond words. Yet we will remember her. Remember all the good that she has done for us. So let us pray, as the people of the Old Kingdom once did, for the peaceful repose of the departed. And let us keep our beloved Queen forever in our hearts, that her memory might guide us unto the morrow. Would that I could find solace in my own words.
Was Queen Sphene taken to the cloud?
She must have been. To still remember her is strange, isn't it, darling?
I miss her. She would always cheer me up when I was down. But even though I remember her, I'll never see her again. That doesn't make sense.
It seems that's what it means to die, I'm afraid.
But what will happen to us? we just going to be sad forever?
What will happen indeed? Everything that we have, we owe to Queen Sphene. How are we to go on without her?
I still remember Her Majesty so clearly. If only I didn't, I might feel better about the future of our realm.
Perhaps we should also consider moving to Tuliolo. The journey won't be easy, but it'd be better than staying here in uncertainty.
In times like these, I take comfort in the beliefs of a Turali people called the Yokui. To them, death isn't the end. So long as we're remembered, we never truly die. It could be the same for Queen Sphene, you know? If you keep her alive in your hearts, she'll always be with you.
But we still won't be able to see her, right? I don't want to think about that. I wish I could just forget instead of having to feel like this.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to impose. Please, mourn your queen however you see fit. As expected, they struggle to come to terms with their loss. I hope they can find a way to move forward.
It's not only grief that weighs on them, but worry for the future. Bereft of their queen, how will they proceed?
True. But with that at least, we're not powerless to help. What is it, Guloja?
I was wondering, is it better to remember or forget someone when they're dead? I remember my father, and every time I think of him, it hurts. It's the same with Queen Sphene. Knowing that she's gone makes me feel sad. But it's different with my mother. I never knew her, so I don't feel as bad. I want to remember my father, but maybe I'd be better off forgetting him.
Guloja.
Why don't we continue this somewhere else?
with that, I'm gonna call it here. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. Be easy, have a good day. Or night. And peace.